Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Koon Rijjeil. اليوم معي Khalil Dagher. Honestly, it's been a fucking long time since I've seen you, so it's good I'm seeing you. Talking about something that I know we're very passionate about, which is relationships and masculinity. So how are you today?
I'm doing very well, man.
Yeah,
I'm doing
looking
very well. Thanks
refreshed.
for we're just in Beirut. Thanks for having me on.
No, my pleasure. So Khalil, أول شيء يعني the way I want to start the podcast is بدي أسألك سؤال very simple.
Cool.
What does Koon Rijjeil mean to you?
Koon Rijjeil. I think nowadays it has a very ambiguous meaning. I mean, Koon Rijjeil, to be a man is such a hard statement. It's such a big statement.
Yeah.
For me, Koon Rijjeil or be a man is being present, stepping up.
Interesting.
Yeah, stepping up. I mean, it's no longer. I don't think it's that. No, يلا أنا رجال. I'm this
Not this
warrior
macho
type.
anymore. Yeah.
No, I think the world's changing, and I think it's more about just being present, showing up. No bullshit.
100%.
Yeah, I think there's so many schools of thought out there. So many people to listen to. From Jay Shetty to Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
And everyone has their own sort of
from all extremes, yani.
from all extremes, and I think it's good to get different viewpoints and standpoints from different people, and just take those learnings and try to be the best you can be.
Of course.
Yeah,
That's it's the first time I've heard of that. Because usually whenever I say hatten to myself, like whenever I hear Koon Rijjeil, it's always like, be a man, whatever, don't show emotions, be this macho. And I never thought of it as simply stepping up and just showing up, being there in the moment. And it's funny because it's a bit similar. So I was, I don't know if you know this, my favorite show is Modern Family.
yeah,
So there was one scene or there's one episode where I think Phil or Jay was saying, the basically the biggest role of the dad in any father-son relationship is just simply showing up.
yeah, 100%.
And that to me was so true because I see it in my life. You just want your person you look up to just be there when you really need them.
100%. It's like having a mentor or having, someone as a kid, as a boy, as a male growing up.
Yeah.
You're always looking for that mentor, that man to look up to, and it comes in different forms and shapes. It could be friends, it could be uncles, it could be your dad,
Of course.
a teacher at school.
Yeah.
It could be a character from a movie. I mean, my favorite movie is Gladiator, for example. And this is the ideal, the quintessential man, the gladiator, Maximus. You don't have to be like that. It's being present, showing up, being there, staying true to your word.
Of course.
I think certain values that just people don't really have anymore.
Yeah, it's just gone.
Yeah.
So speaking of values and whatnot, so again, we always talk about relationships on WhatsApp and Instagram, but I think now let's get
Right into
dirty.
it?
Yeah, let's get straight into it. So, what's your last relationship been like, or how's it been like, current or present? I mean, sorry, previous or current, whatever you.
So I've been in a relationship on and off, but now it's in a very good place.
That's good.
It's been learning. I think in any relationship, not just my relationship,
Of
be a
course.
relationship with friends, be a relationship with whatever. I think it's all about learning and growing, as is life. I think you mentioned in one of your last podcasts the journey. I saw snippets of it, and it is a journey. It is a journey of just growth, of understanding, of learning. It's understanding that you and your partner or your friends, whoever have to be on the same page. We're not necessarily on the same page, but respecting each other enough to understand their opinion to move forward.
100%.
I think in general relationships, the only way they're going to work is if you and your partner, your friend, your colleague understand each other's point of view. Everyone's going to have a different point of view. It's a matter of understanding it, maybe not necessarily agreeing with it, but respecting that. And this is something that I think has helped in the current relationship that I'm in, and it's something I've had to learn over the last, I would say, 5-6 years. I think it's been a journey.
It's been a journey, no? And I think, hell, again, because I mean, I know, from your perspective, I think I remember you were on and off quite a bit, and then, but I think حتى going back to, learning, I think that's something that a lot of people don't do, which is a lot of people are, you know what, man, fuck that. I've tried, done it once. I don't want to learn. They don't want to listen to what I want to do. They don't do this. They don't do that. Screw it. I'll just go to the next person. And I think that's something that I always strive to do, which is to keep learning and to keep on growing and to keep on being that safe space for someone, because at the end of the day, someone is looking for someone and they need that someone that, they could feel like this is home. I feel good.
Exactly.
And I think it's good that, after some time, I started to learn that, which is relationships are a lot more than, but how someone looks and how, and that was for, I think, a large part of my life, how I used to think up until maybe 3 years ago. I realized that there's a lot more than that.
100%. It's much deeper than that. And I think, when I was single and I was going out and meeting people and all that kind of stuff, I think, yeah, you have your type or whatever it is, but there's also, it's deeper than that. You wanna connect with that person on an intellectual level. For example, with me, I love history, I love cars, I love football. I mean, we've spoken about football so many times. I hate Liverpool, by the way.
Hate United too. What? Who?
But it's a matter of just, again, it's all about respect at the end of the day, and living in the UAE, or actually anywhere, to be honest. I think it's important to, you said it best, everybody wants to be loved. And it takes a long time. It took me a long time to realize that. And I think the most important thing is self-love. And that's another big element of being a man, Of course. And that self-love, in essence, teaches you not just to love yourself, obviously, but how to love others, and come in the same way, how to, it gives you a different viewpoint on the world. And self-love comes in many forms, be it walking alone on the beach at 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
I did that, and I was trying to watch the sunrise, and the sunrise rose the other way. So
you're like, shit.
I was waiting, and I was like, oh, okay.
God damn it.
But it could be reading books, just finding out the thing that drives you, and not defines, but more or less shapes you to go and love that next person.
Definitely. And I think, it's true, because I mean, you need to find that thing, 1, but 2, believe in it, and then 3, be proud of it, and not be like, hey, but هيدا الانسان مثلا بركي ما بيحب هيك, so خلص, I'll just throw that stuff aside because no, fuck that, screw that.
100%.
You love it, do it. Don't stop because of someone. And I always say it, like, in one of my previous relationships, someone was saying, they were like, I love to do, what was it, volleyball. But ما إلي جلادة وهيك I have time and I want to spend more time talking to you. I was like, no, screw that jazz. Do your thing, because to me that's what makes me happy. I want to see you live your dream. I want you to do exactly what you want to do, because at the end of the day, your life isn't my life.
100%.
And it's also unfair if I'm going out every single day having fun doing what I do, but you're sacrificing yourself, because I don't like that.
100%.
As Karim. But no, what you said is super true, which is, you need to always have that balance, but have that level of respect, which is, no couple is ever the same.
No.
And we both know this. Like, we always have a very big imbalance in terms of this partner. Yeah, they might be great, but there's a lot of things that I just can't deal with. And even with us as well, we're not perfect as humans either. And you just need to be mindful of that, people aren't perfect and I'm not perfect. But
100%.
But going into any relationship, I need to feel like, I want to grow with this person. I want to feel like, our differences is what make us who we are.
100%. I think a lot of people will say that's accommodating, and I don't like this word. I don't like this word where it's like, and I'm accommodating to this person's lifestyle or whatever. No, it shouldn't be like that at all. Yeah. It's, as you said it, this person is a part of my life. This person has certain interests that I might not have. To see them happy brings me joy. To see them happy, makes me wanna continue and wanna go forward with them. So
definitely.
Yeah, it's a journey.
It's a journey, of course. And speaking of journeys, so this is something that I wanted to ask you. Yeah. So in the times, where you were broken up, let's say, how did you really feel? And or actually, how did you cope and how did you get past it? Because I think everyone deals with things in different ways. So I'd like to hear, how you grew out of it and how you dealt with it.
I think the last one was the one where me and my current partner were away for some time. I'd say like about 9-10 months. So in that time, it was a journey of just, it was in many ways. I mean, one way was, going out, hitting the town, going on the dating apps, of course. But also a lot of it was being alone. And I really didn't understand the value of that until I was truly like alone. And again, people say, oh, they go and they travel to whatever it is. I was planning on doing that. Didn't work out for whatever reason. But being alone in any way, shape or form, like I said, going to the beach at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch the sunrise the wrong way, or sitting at home and just, binge watching a documentary that you're interested in, or playing PlayStation or whatever it is. I think it was a mix of both of those factors, being alone. And a lot of people hate being alone. I love it. I love being alone with my thoughts and just thinking and analyzing. I don't see the problem with it. Yeah. And then obviously going out and meeting girls and whatnot. And I mean, I had some crazy experiences, some good experiences, some horrible experiences. I don't know if we're going to touch on that, but we might. I mean, we might as well. And the fundamental thing that I realized is that truly, even if you went on a date, on one date, or alternatively you went on 5 dates, or it goes further than that, you went on a date and then you hooked up with this person or whatever it is, everybody is looking for the same thing. So. And that's love, and that's to be wanted. Yeah. Of course, everyone has their own way of showing it. Yeah. Also, what I realized is a lot of people are afraid of commitment, especially in the UAE. I think it's looked at as a layover place in a way. So not a lot of people want to commit. Yeah. But even then, if people do want to commit, they're not sure. There's so many, I think options. There's so many options.
This is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. I think so options is the word, and too many options is not a good thing.
It's not a good. No, never. It's not a good thing. But it's something that I wanted to get talk about, which is a lot of times once we got on these dates, because I've been on dating apps even when I had broken up and I was in the lowest moment of my life, going out meeting people, but it just never felt like this is what I'm looking for. And I think this is always. And for a lot of people, it's their escape. Yeah. Is, I'm on a dating app. I meet someone, it's all good. But people don't really see or meet the person behind the person when they swipe right or left.
100%.
And that's been, I think, one of the biggest learnings that I've had. I've never dated off a dating app because it never worked for me, which is fine. Good. Like I've grown past that. But a lot of times when we are to meet someone, it's like, okay, they look great, whatever. But then you find these little things, and then we start, as you said, to accommodate. It's like, you know what? It's fine. I don't know. They're rude to a waiter. Oh my God, this annoys me so much.
Don't get me started.
It's like, so, and then you start to accommodate. But then it gets to a point like, man, fuck that. Like, and then you give up, and then you get this whole cycle again. Okay, but is there a problem with me? And then as a man, 100%. Our whole ego and our whole self-value just goes down because we're not loved. But then again, I think the beauty of that is that, actually, this is my time to really start learning about myself, which is what you were doing, which was doing things that truly make you happy, and going to therapy and talking about this multiple times with my therapist, which was crazy because, man, like, I know my whole life, I always say it, like, I didn't have the most of friends. I didn't date so much in my life, which was, looking back, was great because I was never really used to these big groups. So when I'm now in my smaller friend group, it's not like, I'm not overwhelmed. And it's great because I can sit alone for days, just sit down, watch TV, journal, think of my next idea,
100%.
Do it. And, and I think as men, sometimes that's not really seen as the thing to do, because usually I think the next step is you're broken up. Okay, yalla, on to the next one.
Hit the club.
On to the next one. Hit the club,
go
hit
out,
the gym, get fitter. But then you're in your mind, it's like, but I want to get fitter so that if I meet someone who's great, done. and I hate that. I hate that.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, when me and my partner first broke up that time, yeah, it was yalla, Tinder, Bumble, whatever. Let's go out there.
Whatever
let's
was
go meet
unblocked.
people. Whatever was whatever was unlocked, even at the gym, man. You know, but
yeah.
you know, you realize at the end, am I doing this? Okay, what's best for me though?
Yeah.
You know, and then you said the whole point about going to the gym. Yeah, I was going to the gym hard.
I remember.
You know, I was. I mean, I'm trying now, but you know, I just came back from Beirut, so Teta's cooking.
This is
But yeah, and I was going to the gym hard, and then it dawned on me that okay, but hold on a second. Am I doing this for me, or am I doing this because I want, you know, the girl on the treadmill to glance over,
to look at me,
Oh my god, you know. But then I realized, I was like, I mean, later down the line, I don't care about that girl on the treadmill. I care the fact that, you know, I'm lifting heavier. I have more endurance. I feel good. Yeah. And that's what it kind of clicked. You know, I was like, okay, I feel healthy, and that's all that matters. You know, fuck everyone else.
Definitely. And the thing is, like, there's something I always think about, which was, you know, so 2 years ago, I was probably rock bottom in my life. Like, I had broken up with a girl who meant a lot to me, but a lot of shit had happened in the middle, and it just wasn't cool for me. And a lot of times I'd be at the gym, or I'd be in the car, whatever it is. And at the time, كنت فكر إنه إيه خلاص, I've broken up, next one. And I didn't think, okay, work on yourself. It was more of, okay, I'll work on myself in that process. So I'd see, let's say, like someone on the treadmill or someone in the car. I'm like, they look they look so cute, whatever. And then I'm like, yeah, I was thinking about it. I'm like, but if they do look, it's not like we're gonna get married tomorrow morning.
Exactly.
It's like, you know, and this is the biggest realization that I've come to at that point, which was, it doesn't matter. What matters really is how you start thinking about things, you know,
100%.
and not thinking about relationships as, okay, this one's done, I'll go to the next one. No.
Never.
Your biggest relationship is you and you. That's it.
100%. Your biggest relationship is you, and like you know, I've made that mistake. You've made that mistake. We made that mistake of jumping into something really quickly. I'm not gonna lie. In the process, I feel like I may have hurt people because I jumped into something way too fast and I wasn't ready. But in the end, you know, that's that realization of learning and understanding that, hold on a second, I need to love myself. I need to figure out my shit first. Ooh, you do. I mean, yeah, when I was single, I was going on dates like almost every 2 weeks, every week, whatever, you know, and like I said, some were good, but there was always that thing that was missing. Yeah. And some were horrible, and thank God, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Because again, you never really learn until you get in the shit, until you really, mahul rock bottom, but until you see some things that you just don't want in your life. And, you know, and to me, it was all about, no matter how many dates I went on, no matter how many, it never compared to
that person.
But
you mentioned therapy.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it wasn't, therapy came after I did something else first. I started reading a lot. At the time, I was reading, you know, books by Jordan Peterson. I was reading books by Esther Perel.
Oof, this lady is she's incredible.
She changed my mindset on so many things. And again, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite and say, oh, you know, don't, you know, be like don't think of her like a cult leader and just like fuck. No, but she said a lot of things that made a lot of sense. But what I realized what I was doing was, you know, even Joe Rogan, man. Joe Rogan's my guy. He's he's my guy.
I know that,
I would listen to different podcasts or read different books from different sources. Be it even Russell Brand, you know, like Esther Perel, Russell Brand, you know, Jay Shetty, blah blah blah. And then I would take all their sort of teachings, if you will, and then it sort of helped me get better.
Yeah.
But right after that is when I decided to see a therapist as well. And shout out to BetterHelp. But honestly, the lady that I was working with, I could say, it was phenomenal, and she really changed my perspective on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, when me and my ex did eventually get back together, it gave me the help that I needed not to like rush it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And because I didn't rush it, and because of like these teachings, I feel like me and my partner now are in an amazing place, like in an epic place. Alhamdulillah. So
that's great.
So, knock on wood. So no, it's you know, it's one of those things where you just have to realize what works for you, what's the best way to go about it.
Definitely.
I mean, I got catfished, bro. That was a very interesting experience.
That's screwed.
That was a very interesting experience.
Fuck. No, that's
Yeah.
not cool at all.
No, not at all. But
But
that
it taught you something.
it taught me something because it was also a matter. It's that whole idea of self-love.
Yeah.
And you know, the girl on the dating app looked like J-Lo, like literally the whole thing. And I was like, wow. When I went and saw her, it was a completely different person.
It was literally like Phalo. It was like
J-No, bro.
J-No.
J-No.
It was like, oh no.
It was oh no, you know. And then
Yeah.
you know, I had, you know, obviously
And it
there's
was
an
like one
elephant.
of those like really overly photoshopped pictures and
Dude, it was a different person.
okay.
It was a completely different
Yeah.
person. And when I asked her, I was like, okay, you know, there's a big elephant in the room here. This is not you. She said, yeah, it isn't. I don't like how I look, so I'm using my cousin's pictures.
Nice.
And that kind of like, you know, dawned on me like, okay, so that goes back to that whole self-love thing, man. Like you need to love yourself before you put yourself out there. In any way, you have to,
of course,
you know.
Of course. No, I think that's fucking ridiculous.
Bro, it was...
I've honestly, I've never gotten catfished, thankfully, but I don't think I ever will.
Hopefully not.
But I think, you know, going back to therapy, like, man, I remember 2 years ago, or maybe even 3 at this point. No, it was 2 years ago. I was at literal rock, but I was like, no. I remember one day I was at work. I was sending out some emails and like some shit had happened with my ex-girlfriend at the time. And I was like, no. Like, this can't be happening. I remember I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sit. I couldn't focus. I was just like, my mind was all over the place. Was it me? Am I the problem? Am I? And then I remember I left work early that day. I was like, fuck that. I need to go to see my therapist now because I was like suffocating. I couldn't think straight. And I don't think I've ever felt that low in my life where I felt like something that I couldn't control.
Yeah.
It's just in front of your face and it's just a big fuck you. It's like
100%.
Man, that is like the worst shit I've felt in my life. Luckily enough, I had like a colleague at work who I still thank till today because she really helped me get through it. And as well, my therapist at the time, it was good just to talk to someone because, you know, in these moments, you never really know how to act because on one hand, you're broken up, everything is done. But at the same time, you still feel hurt, but you don't want to show that you're hurt because Ep4.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you know, you want to help yourself, but you don't know how. Your only outlet is at the time was to either try to win that person back or to just, you know, date someone else. And at that time, honestly, I'll be very frank, I didn't know so much. Honestly, I didn't. I would go to therapy, but I wouldn't go as much as I do now. Not because I need it, but I just genuinely enjoy it.
Exactly.
You know, and just simply talking to someone about it and just letting my heart out and talking about every little detail about that relationship and why I'm so pissed off is incredible.
100%. And, you know, and not to take this away from the whole relationship element, but in every facet of life, you know, I think it's important to understand that as men, we do have a support system.
Definitely.
And this is very important.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, today I consider myself a strong man, you know, a man's man, but I cry.
Of course.
You know, I've cried and I love it. I feel every time I have cried, and I'm talking sobbing, you know, be it because of, I don't know.
Just like that GIF you see on like WhatsApp. It's like the one I send every time.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you just have to let it out, man. And, you know, I know men who are, you know, strong men as well who cry, and it's fine. It's good to let it out, but also that element of having a support system. So you just said your friend, your colleague at work. You know, for me, at my lowest points, I've had low points. Forget the relationships. I've had really low points. I've had a strong group of guys, my guy friends who've just helped me out. You know, who are there for me. Yeah. You know, people you call your brothers. Yeah. And this is something I think a lot of people, a lot of men don't have to an extent.
True.
Be it relationships, be it work, be it life, whatever it is. I think a lot of men are lacking this strong support system and are expected to do it all by themselves.
And I'll tell you why that is. Because I was talking about this the other day with my friend. لأنه نحن كشباب كتير عنا جو المانيكة. يلي هي أنا مثلا افترض أنت you're like part of my friend group بس أنت you're the complete opposite. It's like بقول لك مثلا man خليل I broke up with this girl I loved her وكل شيء بس بتقول لي man إنه خلص شت حالك إنه ما أحد من هون العيرة whatever. بس إنه and this is why actually a lot of times in my life, I often go to female figures.
Yeah.
هلا أكيد في my other group of guy friends who I love and cherish, and I talk to them about some things, not everything.
أكيد.
But sometimes you feel like this is a really safe, and it's a natural safe space. It's not something that you need to build. It's a bit like over time, because this stuff takes, to me at least, it took a bit of training, it took a bit of time to feel like, you know what, Anna, I'm able to provide for someone. I'm able to, you know what, to be that space for them to speak and give their thoughts and all that. So, you know, and which means that we're automatically always scared of talking. وخلص بتصفي, we bottle things up, and then we portray these emotions in other negative ways.
100%.
Whether it's violence, whether it's yelling, whether it's you know, just being toxic in
100%.
any way, shape, or form.
100%. I just it's if there's one message I can take, I can put out there, is like, you're not alone.
Definitely.
And yes, you know, the value of having guy friends is very important, but also, as you said, the value of having girlfriends to talk to, and that could be a sister, it could be a mom,
whoever
cousin,
it is, of course. And
it's definitely good to get the other perspective.
Yeah, and I've been lucky, honestly, to have like fantastic sisters. Like my mom is amazing. Like, you know, friends at work, friends from university, people I just really just cherish, and I don't feel like I'm being judged. I don't feel like I'm being, you know, it's just a safe space for me to talk.
100%.
You know,
and it's the worst. It's the worst thing when you. I've been in a. I was at a house party recently, when like maybe 6-7 months ago or 8 months ago, when I was still single, and I was at a house party, and then the kid's brother, the guy's brother who was there at the house party, was going through something, and he started crying. And he was a younger guy, so I'm now 31, and this boy was maybe 19, 20, and for whatever reason he started crying, you know, in the middle of the party, and he went to a room and everything. And then I don't know the kid very well, so I was kind of like on the outskirts, kind of observing, you know, what's going on. One guy goes up to him, also a 30-year-old, 31-year-old guy, and says, "ليه تبكي? Why are you crying? Be a man. شد حالك. Men don't cry. Men don't هيدا." And then what I loved was the kid's brother came through, and he was like, "What the hell? No, let him let it out. It's fine. It's okay." And it goes back to that whole idea of wanting mentors and wanting people to look up to. And as I've gotten older, I mean, I'm not old, but as I've gotten older,
you're getting there.
Yeah, I'm bald, so whatever. But as I'm getting older, I've realized that the best thing in the world is, like, I'm at this age now where I'm having younger kids coming up to me asking me for advice.
Yeah.
And I'm giving them that advice in a way where I knew I never got that advice. So it's good to know, listen, as a guy, you are supported, you have support. You don't have to bottle it all in. Definitely. And just like close up, you know.
Definitely.
You can talk to people.
Definitely.
It's important.
So Khalil, to wrap up the session, so the way I want to end every podcast is I want you to open this notebook and write down a quote that you think every man should read. Every man, you know, should feel like, you know what, this is Khalil's middle advice for me. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
All right.
Make it, it's your canvas.
All right.
Do your best.
All right. I used to be left-handed, man. They changed me. So
they changed me. There was a deformity, in the factory. It was like, no.
They're like, no, it's bad luck or some shit. So
I don't know. Well, Khalil, honestly, thanks so much, honestly, for being on Koon Rijjeil, or being super open with your relationship, with your life, and just sharing your wisdom, because I think I don't hear it enough every day from men who, you know, I now look up to, because you've shared a side to yourself that I've never seen before. So thank you. Even though we've spoken a bit, and you support a shitty football team, that's fine. But now I feel like I can talk to you about things beyond football and cars.
Yes.
So yeah, honestly, thanks so much.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for having me on.
Honestly, my pleasure. Ooh, we will see you on the next one.